Hi Flosstube, my name is Veronica and you're watching Night Stitch, and today I'm going to be doing an update video for everything that I stitched in June of 2023. First off, I would like to say that I closed the giveaway from last month's stitchy update video, and I closed it on July 1st, and Linda Craig is the winner, and she has already been contacted and she already gave me all of her information, and so I sent off your package, Linda, on July 5th, 2023. So hopefully you get that soon, because today is July 6th. And I just wanted to let you know publicly that I closed the giveaway and that is all settled. So congratulations, Linda. Thank you for watching and commenting and being a loyal viewer of my videos. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy your stitchy supplies. Okay, so a little housekeeping here. I feel like when I first started doing Flosstube, I would do weekly updates as far as like stitchy updates, and now that I've gotten back into it, I wasn't quite sure how much stuff I would have per week, so I decided to go to monthly updates just for the first month. And I'm kind of in this middle area where I feel like I'm at a crossroads. Like, I want to start doing stitchy updates weekly because I'm already on a Thursday filming schedule, so I will film a video on Thursday and it won't necessarily get edited and uploaded on Thursday, but I'm working on my consistency because I know that I have a problem with it. But this is just me talking out loud, and I want to go back to weekly, but basically I don't know how to do that, if that makes any sense. I mean, obviously I know how, like I would gather all my stuff per week on Thursday and film it, so that's not logistically what I mean, but I think it's just in my head I'm feeling like I am just unsure how to switch, I guess. So we'll see what I figure out, but the reason I feel like this is because I kind of feel weird talking about my June stuff in July, and that's probably just psychological, like it has nothing to do with anything, but I just feel like I'm backwards, I guess, like I'm talking about things that are old, but it's not. It's like, that's obviously the newest update that you guys would have seen. So to me it's old, but to you guys it's new. So anyway, like I said, it's just, and I think I'm just super excited because in July I finished something, but I'm waiting until August to tell you about it. And so that's what spurred off my whole, I need to go back to weekly updates. But anyway, that is my housekeeping dilemma, and we'll see what I figure out. If you guys have any suggestions, if anything I said made any sense, you can feel free to leave them in the comments, but I'm not like so torn up about it that it's like distressing me or anything like that. I just wanted to maybe talk out loud about it, and even doing that, even though I'm talking to myself literally on camera, it still kind of helps to like say words, you know? So anyway, I'm sure those of you who do Flosstube understand, like, yeah, it kind of does make it so that you kind of can see like where your head is at and what you want to do. And so then when you say it out loud, it just kind of either confirms or denies what you're thinking, and then it kind of helps sort out like problems that you may have, I guess. But anyway, I'm gonna show you my whips that I did in June, and this is minus the Castle Homecoming Club because I am working on that currently, and I just did like a Castle Homecoming Club clue number 1 recap. So I did finish clue number 1, but I thought since I had already posted that, I will just wait until the next time I do a stitchy update to show you the Castle Homecoming thing. So that one will not be included, but I did work on it. And I'm still working on clue number 2. One of my whips that I worked on in June was by Peacock and Fig, and it's called Sarcasm. And I had UFO'd this project because the first time I did it on, no, it wasn't the fabric. I liked the fabric and I liked the colors that I picked, but I didn't like the wreath border around it. And that's nothing against Peacock and Fig, and it's just that the flowers and the things, I'm not a flower kind of girl unless it's like red, white, and blue flowers, which I do have on my dining room table. And I know I could change the colors to red, white, and blue if I wanted, but something about the floral wreath was not jiving with me. So I just decided to UFO the project. But I was like thinking, I don't really want to UFO it because I really like it. There's a funny quote, which Peacock and Fig is known for just hilarious quotes. So the quote is, "Sarcasm, the perfect answer to every stupid question," which is true. So, and that's why I bought the pattern. But I decided I wanted to do that pattern again, but I didn't want to do the floral wreath. So I found a wreath by DMC, and it's called the Winter Wreath. And I don't know if you know this about DMC, and I don't know why I didn't pick up on this the first time, because I do have some DMC patterns. But if you go to their website and you just you just click on the pattern, it's free. So like if you wanted a kit or something, then you would like order through DMC and they would ship you stuff. But if you just want the pattern, you can download it. And I was like, I did this before. Why didn't I realize that that was a thing? Maybe I thought they only did it with the patterns that I picked, which doesn't make any sense. But regardless of that, if you want some free patterns, go to dmc.com and then, scroll through their pattern list. And there's a tab and it's like, I think it says kit or materials or something. And then the next tab says pattern. And if you click pattern, as far as I know, the last time I did it, it'll change to free and then you can just download it. So I picked a wreath that has oranges on it, and I like stitching food for some reason. Don't ask me why, I have no idea. So that's the one I picked, and that I combined the two patterns. So I have the quote and then I have the wreath around it. This is what it looks like so far. This fabric is Alice's Garden by Fiberlicious, and it reminds me of like apples. So, and if you notice, the pattern is not directly in the middle, and I did do that on purpose. I measured the wreath and the quote, and it's only like 8 by 8, and this is a 13 by 18 piece. So I figured if I put the pattern towards the top, I'll have extra fabric at the bottom after I cut off for like borders and stuff, and I'll have extra fabric. I can do something else on this fabric. So that's why it's up at the top. The pattern is charted to be black for the quote, like all black, but I am kind of the opposite of most people. I get really tired if I stitch one color just over and over and over. I have to change color. So that's why I stitched this answer to in the middle, and I was just like, I can't stitch any more black. I just can't do it. So then I moved to this color, which is Fiberlicious Moscow, and it's blue and white and light blue variegation. So I did the perfect is in Moscow, and I changed the word stupid to this color, which is Fiberlicious Caribbean Carnival, but it's also known as CO54. And that is orange, pink, and blue. And then the dark red at the top is variegated as well, but it's DMC 115, so it's a little bit more subtle, so it kind of just looks like all dark red, which is fine with me. But so I basically stitched one strand of black, and then I would switch to a different color, and then I would stitch that color, finish the word, and then stitch another thing of black, and so on and so forth. So then I was able to finish this without driving myself crazy. Something else that drove me a little bit crazy was the wreath. And the wreath is very pretty and I like it, but there are a lot of fractional, I think 3/4 stitches, which is fine because this is Lugana and I had no problem poking the fabric because it has holes already. But I forgot how to do 3/4 stitches for like a split second. And then once I figured that out, it's hard to count that. Like when you're on the pattern and you've got the big square with like just the regular cross stitch, and then you have like the itty bitty square where it's like this is a half or a fractional. It was sometimes I would be like one stitch off with the fractional, so I'd have to frog it out and put it back where it was supposed to be. So that was a little bit crazy at first, but I got it. I fixed everything and it's all right now. But I did the back stitch on the leaves as well. Is it focusing? The red is DMC Diamond because I've never used Etoile, which it recommended, but I feel like because the Etoile comes on a skein and it's metallic, and I feel like it would be a nightmare to like pull out the thread from the skein and have it be like workable, I guess. The Diamant comes on a spool, so it's much easier to like take it off the spool and use it because it doesn't get tangled. But this wreath has like holly berries on it because it's called winter wreath, so I think it's like a Christmas one, but you can see the sparkle. I haven't gotten to the orange yet, but there's like big oranges on the left and on the like bottom center of it. The next project that I worked on was In the Moment, which is my dimensions kit that I got a long time ago. And it looks like that. And I am doing this on a Irish linen 28 count Lugana. It says Lugana and it says linen, and on the back it says 100% linen, and I didn't know what it was, but I think it's linen. After stitching on it, it doesn't really feel like Lugana, so I'm gonna say it's linen. And I dyed this because it was tea dyed, but I dyed it blue and I called it blueberry. But I think it's linen because of the way that it feels. It doesn't feel like Lugana. But I got this start in the middle here. It's the N, which is this right here. And I kind of got tired of it after a while, and I think it's because this is a restart as well, and I always start in the middle, which is fine, but I feel like I think I've been just having deja vu, like stitching this N over and over again. And this is only the second time I restarted it, so it's not like I actually have been stitching this N over and over again, but some psychological is messing with me, so. But I think I got an okay start on it. Like, I have a lot of these. It's almost halfway done in the block because I got a lot of these half stitches done, and some of there's a lot of blended colors in here too, so. But I like it. I think when I pick it up again, I might like stitch a different letter just so I feel like I'm stitching something else maybe. Maybe that'll help. But I finally like the fabric. And if you remember, I said initially when I did this that I threw the threads away for the project because I guess I'm a weirdo. So what I did was I converted every thread to DMC and I have them in here. I just put them on rings and I labeled the equivalent colors. I have like 3 rings in here. So it does call for a lot of colors. I'm using my clear bobbins because they're awesome. But yeah, it wasn't too hard. Dimensions threads are not as, there's not as much variety of dimensions threads as there are DMC threads. So sometimes I would go to convert the the dimensions and I would type in the number and then there would be like 2 colors of DMC that would be like, this is equivalent maybe. So I would just pull both of them and then see what they were, and if it was like really off, then I would pick the one that was closer, but there were times when it was very similar, so I thought I'll just blend these together to make that one dimensions color. So that's been kind of fun. The third whip that I worked on was my Egyptian Queen by Heaven and Earth Designs, and it says freebie on here, but it's no longer free. But you can get the bigger chart that she's from. It's like got her sitting in a chair and she has like, I think, leopards around her. This is a vintage country mocha fabric. So it's like printed. I think it's printed. Yeah, because on the back it's just brown, but then on the front it's got a little bit of modeling like sand, which is why I picked it for her. And my goal on this was to clean up the hanging threads, but as you can see, I did not accomplish that. I was working on this side of her and I really kind of was not confident that I didn't miscount over here, so I decided to go down the side of her face a little bit, and I did her hair and some of the like beads that are in her. It's not beads like actual beads, but in the photo it's like she has beads in her hair, like fancy jewels and stuff. So I did that, and then I went up to this part of her crown to match up to kind of down here where I was having a little bit of not confident about counting stuff, because I just wanted to really make sure that I didn't have to frog out any of this. And so yeah, so I ended up being able, I also didn't have a lot of like stuff here stitched above her eyebrow, so I got that done too, and then her crown. And so I think I didn't mess up too much because I didn't think I had to frog anything too horribly, so I think it's okay. But I've been learning a lot with this because I restarted this once because I had it on white Lugana, and I don't know. I think I messed up then. I miscounted something and didn't want to frog it out, and then I didn't want to do it on white again, and then I found this fabric that looks like sand, and so since she's an Egyptian queen, I thought, well, she should be on like sandy fabric. And so I did that, and then I liked it better, and then I managed to, the first time I miscounted, it was like in her face somewhere, but this time I managed to get her face all correct. And I think when I worked on my A Stitch in Time, which is my other HAID, I was working in 10 by 10 blocks and working, starting in the middle and working up and then trying to go over to the left, because I have decided I like working in 10 by 10 blocks. And that's not to say like I'm gonna have exactly 10 by 10 and have there be like ridges and things like that, but because I know that you should, you know, bleed over a little bit when you're doing your blocks. But for the most part, it's like I like stitching in blocks. I don't like cross country because I get really, I guess, insecure about like, did I count right? And yeah. But with this one, I'm trying basically to, because up here I started stitching kind of in the 10 by 10 to like know exactly where I was, and so that was helpful. But I think with this I'm gonna have to sort of clean up what I did before, and then I can make like actual progress on her. She looks good though. I like her. My favorite part about it was her eyes. Eyes are just so vibrant. And I love her crown. Just, she's gorgeous. My next whip, actually this was a new start, is by Pinoy Stitch, and it's called Soar Today, and it's an exercise pattern. And this was the one I told you that I kitted up with the iris threads that my sister-in-law gave to me because I wanted to use up some of those threads. And this is Oh My Moose. It's by Fiberlicious, and it's 32 count Lugana. And I realize now I probably should have started this up higher because I think there's going to be a lot of excess fabric. But I guess that's okay because I don't usually stitch on neutrals or browns very much, so maybe it's fine that this whole piece will be used up basically for this pattern. So I mean, look at that. That's like folded over at the top. That's how much extra I have. I could totally fit something else on here. But I got a start and I worked on it for a couple days, so I have that. And my goal was to finish the word soar, but I didn't do that, so that's okay. I think it looks good. I like the brightness on here. Oh, I wanted to mention, I think I'm a goal stitcher. So like, I'll pick a project with my random generator, or if I feel like starting something, then I'll just start it. And then I'll set a goal for myself. Like that one I set, finish the word soar. And I try to do like smaller goals because I know I get bored sometimes with things and I need to switch projects. So I try not to do like a really bad goal for me would be like, finish one Heaven and Earth design page. Unless I'm really close to the edge or the end of the page, that would just not happen because chances are I would get bored and need to switch projects long before I was able to finish a page. I figured that out about myself since I've restarted doing Flosstube, because I wanted something to keep me on track and keep me consistent, but I also needed it to be not so overwhelming that I just never got anything done. My last whip that I worked on other than Castle Homecoming is this, Mirabilia. Christmas in London. This fabric is 32 count Lugana, and it's Starburst by Fiberlicious. And I looked at it the other day and I was like, it looks like a gummy bear threw up on this fabric. But I mean that in the best way because I love this fabric. And I love So all of this top part, her dress and this fountain and some of the stockings, I had done already for a long time, and I didn't pick it up for the longest time because I think I didn't have all the colors for it. Like, there were some colors in, let me see if I can get this so you can see it more. Some colors for this deer that were missing, and so I didn't have it, and so I put it away. But I finally went and got the colors for it, and miraculously Hobby Lobby had every single color that I needed. And I wasn't only shopping for this, I was shopping for Castle Homecoming too, because I didn't have all the colors for that, and I thought I might as well just pick them up since I was gonna pick this up. So I did that, and I got all the colors that I needed. They had them all in stock. It was great. So my goal for this was to finish the deer head mount, which I managed to do. So yay. And I really should pick up my Mirabilias more because they're pretty. I got some fabric of the month and then another fabric order. If you're wondering why the camera is pointed this way, it's just because I have just finished a framing demo, and I decided I would record this little clip for my normal update video where I show you my fabrics. So this is the fabric of the month. Do you see what I see? It's 32 count Lugana. And it appears to be blue and green with some like algae in the water, I guess. Very pretty. I enjoy blue. As you can tell, my table is all blue. And just notice the tag says January's color of the month, but I literally just got this a few days ago. So I think the label's wrong because it's July. Okay, I got this from Fiberlicious as well. I just placed a fabric order, and she sent me this little note, which is very cute. And this one is Sea Flame, and it's 36 count Edinburgh linen. And I got a fat quarter because I'm going to be doing Rosie the Riveter on this fabric. And I had gotten a like 32 count fat quarter before of Lugana of this same color, and I loved it so much. So, and I stitched like one patriotic thing on it, and then the other one was like a Dr. Seuss thing. And I loved it so much that I was like, I need another piece of patriotic fabric for Rosie the Riveter. So this will be her new fabric. I'm currently frogging out the Ada that I had her on, and it was an 18 count. So this will be my very first piece of 36 count fabric so that I can stitch over 2 and have 18 count. All right, now I want to talk about some of my plans. And I'm kind of a statistics person, I guess. When I cross stitch, I really like to know how many days I worked on something and how many stitches I put in and how many goals I met or how many goals I failed. Or now that I have 2 months down where I'm actually recording things, I can do like a comparison. With me, I don't like comparing myself to other people. The only person that I compare myself to is myself. So I'm going to compare what I did in June 2023 with what I did in May 2023. So in May, I worked on 8 projects, and in June, I worked on 7 projects. Both months I had 4 whips. Both months I did not fully finish anything. In May I finished 1 project. And in June, I finished no projects. In May, I started 4 things. In June, I started 1 thing. In May, I did not restart anything. And in June, I restarted 2 things. In May, I made 4 Flosstube videos. In June, I made 5 Flosstube videos. In May, I stitched 9,263 stitches. And in June, I stitched 7,535 stitches. In May, I was able to stitch for 29 days, and in June, I was able to stitch 30 days. So every day of the month, I met that goal. Because my goal every month is to stitch every day. In both May and June, I set 7 goals because I had about 7 to 8 projects. And in May, I met 5 of those goals. In June, I met 4 of those goals. In May, I failed 2 of my goals, and in June, I failed 3 of my goals. At the beginning of May, I had 49 whips. At the end of May, I had 51. And in the beginning of June, I had 51 whips, and at the end of June, I had 52 whips. That's the comparison for anyone who's interested. Mainly also for myself to kind of have this on video. So I have some plans for July. I want to stitch every day. Like I said, that's my goal every month. Is just that's always a default goal. Stitch every day. I want to film a Flosstube every Thursday. Like I said, it won't get uploaded on Thursday every time, but I want to film so I'm consistent. I want to finish my Castle Homecoming Club clue number 2 before clue number 3 comes out because I want to keep up with that. I want to continue to roll random whip numbers so I can work on more projects. My goal for like the rest of 2023 is to work on every single whip that I have at some point during the year. And I think I can do that because I have 52, so. And I've already, like, once I roll one, I'll turn it bold in my Excel spreadsheet so I know that I already worked on it. July, I also wanted to frog some stitches in my Captain America project and restitch them with DMC Diamond Silver. Because in the pattern, there are some places in his shield where it was calling for like the skin tone color that's in his face. And I know that that's just the way the photograph was lit or whatever, but I want to put in the silver on his shield because I know that's where that actually is in there, and so I think it'll still look cool even with that change. Oh, and I also want to do Whip Go in 2024. So I joined the Whip Go group, and I did have one person tell me that I could just start Whip Go now and then see if I like it or not. But I think I want to start it in January of 2024 because I really want to see if I can get a bingo blackout. I feel like that would be easier if I start in January of next year. I also have this Decision Roulette app, which is basically the Android version of the Tiny Decisions app, which is the wheel that you spin so you get like random numbers or projects. I mean, you can put in like words as well. It doesn't have to be numbers, but I was gonna add all my projects as I work on them to the Decision Roulette because you can add like a photo of the project into the roulette, and so it'll be fun to see like my progress from last time will be in there. But I want to add all of my projects to that so that, because I can make like different wheels, and so I can make like a Whip Go wheel and then have all the projects that could potentially be pulled for Whip Go ready to go in January. So I don't want to sit there and like do them all, like put all of the projects in all at once because I want to stitch. So but I feel every time I randomly roll a whip, I'm gonna like, before I stitch it real quick, take a photo and like enter all the information and put it in the Whip Go wheel. And so I think I have an idea of how I want to do my Whip Go board. I want to make, I scrapbook as well, so I wanted to put like the Whip Go board and glue it onto like scrapbook paper and then like decorate it, and then I wanted to put it on something magnetic so I can put a needle minder on the numbers that Jessie calls every month, so that I have like a visual representation of this is what I'm supposed to be working on for WhipGo. And then when I get either don't meet the goal or I do meet the goal, then I'll like outline the box with like a green or red marker, because I was gonna do like traffic lights. So like red would mean obviously stop, you didn't do it. Green is, you know, for go, so it would be like green would be like success, red would be like fail. I thought about yellow somehow, like yellow is like I'm currently working on it, so that would kind of be, so like the yellow would be filled in, or I would draw an outline around maybe the title of the project in yellow so that I'd be working on it, and then the outside would be red or green depending on if I finished it or not. But like I said, I think I want to set myself some smaller goals, because I think if I don't, then I'll like end up not finishing anything, and so, or not meeting any of the goals, and so I want to make sure that I can actually meet the goals. I think though for this year, I'm just gonna keep it a little less crazy, since I'm just getting back into this and like recording things and all of that, and I don't want to overwhelm myself. So this year, my focus is basically just the Castle Homecoming sale, which does run through till January 2024. That's when the last clue comes out, but that's okay. I think that can overlap with WhipGo, just that one thing, and it'll be fine. But in January, I'm totally gonna do like a WhipGo plans video or whatever, so look forward to that at the beginning of next year. I did already do a whip parade in May, and I know a lot of you are doing like a half year whip parade, but I kind of feel like I already did mine, so I'm not gonna do that this year anyway. I might do like a January whip parade, so then I would be on track with like half a year. But I also had thought if I do a whip parade not when everyone else does, then maybe it'll give you guys something to watch at a different time. So like you could watch my whip parade in May and then other people's whip parades in June, so then you'd always have a whip parade to watch kind of within those 2 months. So I had toyed with the idea of doing mine like every off month from everyone else, just to see like if it would be fun. And I did. Thank you everyone who's watched my whip parade. Like that video has gotten like 2,800 views, and I like appreciate you guys so much for doing that. I'm glad you enjoyed my whips. Like I plan to add a whole lot more, obviously, because I realized I'm a serial restarter. So like I do also start new things whenever I feel like it, but I feel like if I am working on something and I don't really like it, there's a high chance I'll restart it on something else, because I like stitching. And so if I am not enjoying my project, I will find a way to like it again. So that hence the restarting, whether it's on a different fabric or if it's like different threads or whatever. Like anyway, I think I'm rambling at this point, but I have a lot of plans and I'm excited, so that's why. But yeah, and talking out loud with you guys really kind of just helps me like process what I'm thinking, I guess. So thank you for listening and for watching and liking and commenting and subscribing to my videos. I really appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you guys on the next video. So have a great time today stitching. So see you later. Bye.